a lot of fans of his. So with him bowing out, James Dean, dude. Come on, man. You can't just hand it to him. I mean, come on. Like, I love James. Great dude. His Becky is here in the building. But James Dean, get a fast pass to the top 16. Chilling, grilling, thrilling. Let's lay out and listen to the AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. Send it. What a run there by James Dean. That's a good exercise for him. Kind of stretch the legs. I feel like, I'm guilty of not stretching in the morning. I feel like he just stretched out right there. Did you stretch this morning?
I did stretch this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm a big. I like stretching. Yeah.
No.
It keeps me ready for hockey in case I get a call up to the big leagues.
Okay.
Just in case the NHL calls. Yeah. Got to be ready.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, phone ain't ringing, dog.
I know.
Here we are, taking a look at this. Simon Olsen, Jeff Jones, and here are the stats from the last 3 seasons, 21-24. Look at that, 55%, 49. Simon Olsen, and the overall wins 4 and 2. So what a Mr. Olsen.
Yeah.
What a weapon. But again, I'll tell you what, Jeff Jones is due, baby. Jeff Jones wants this. He is, again, the Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z. Look at Simon Olsen going across the nose of that Z. Jeff has to back up, but then look, guess what? I'm right there, Mr. Norway. Right on the side of his door into that big outside zone. Simon Olsen, really great pot. Oh, buddy. So, big, interesting hiccup there by Simon Olsen going way off course. We're going to have to roll that back and see. Good execution, good aggression, but that really could hurt him. 3 wheels off is an incomplete. You got to keep it where the rubber meets the road. Yes, there is road out there, but you can't go out there.
Yeah, there was an e-brake pull that happened near the end of the first outside zone that we got to watch out for. But Jeff Jones here doing a good job to get the car reeled back into that first outside zone. I think it was right about here, there. That little bit, that's all it took to push Simon off. And oh, so close. Whether he went 3 wheels off, I do like how he backed the car into 3, gets back on throttle through here, and Jeff Jones, knowing that there was a large mistake there from Simon, maybe pulled back a little bit, but he's got to be careful, because if he didn't, and then Jeff has a larger error later on, that could be it. So Simon showed everything that he needed to show to prove that he can be here and do these runs, but that one decision to make that e-brake pull could have been enough. And you can see the difference here between this camera angle and our overhead. Everything looks good, but you don't realize the depth of it. But right there, yeah, you see him starting to push wide. He gets back on throttle, push the car around. Does he go through? Oh my gosh, so close.
It's too off. But that's still. That hampers Jeff Jones' performance, and I was going to give Jeff his flowers metaphorically because he has the power. He's right there. We saw him kind of give him the distance, and then on that bank, you saw him just looming in the shadows, and that was so well done. And him following Simon really kind of emulsified how big a mistake that was by Simon. So now Jeff Jones got the clean air out front of the Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z. Simon Olsen in tow. Look at him. Again, good execution, good proximity. Like to maybe see him mimic that angle a little bit more. And Jeff, rock solid there in that the second outside zone. Now into the third, through the power alley, coming past that inside clip, about the second hash mark, now into that last outside zone. Simon knows he really needs to apply that pressure, maybe force an error by Jeff, but Jeff, unflappable. Jeff Jones from Southern California. This is a big move. If Simon goes out here this early with James Dean advancing, that's a problem for Mr. Olsen.
So first outside zone by Jeff, not super deep through the first part. Now Simon really pushing things, getting into the pocket, not as close as he could be. The second outside zone, obviously much better from Jeff Jones, but the third outside zone only gets about 1 wheel in. Now Simon doesn't get nearly deep enough through there either. Through the inside clip, everything looks nice, and now Simon dives in and tries to gain that proximity, but in doing so does not fulfill the 4th outside zone in the chase. Remember, the chase driver still needs to be able to mirror what the lead driver is doing. So if the lead driver makes it through a zone, the chase driver needs to make it through the zone. And that's something that's very, very important in the chase there. So Simon does a good job through these parts, but there's mistakes on both sides, and mistakes that honestly I wasn't expecting from either one of these drivers. So I like the aggression. I like how strong they came out of the gate there, but yeah.
That's funny, very uncharacteristic of Simon to come in that hot. He's very calculated, but I'll tell you what, the marriage of him in this car came to be last year, and it is just it's again peanut butter and jelly, man. It works so well for Simon.
Yeah, he's adapted so well to this field suspension. S14.9, I believe, is what they're calling it. But yeah, couple of big mistakes there, and I mean, I'd like both of them to clean it up either way that this goes, and we'll see what the judges have to say.
Talking to our judges and Ryan Sage, president of Formula Drift, the judges wanted to analyze that first run and focusing on that because here's Simon out front who did go 2 off. Mm-hmm. Jeff might have gone 3, but I believe, but I think they're deducing that Jeff went 3 off because he kind of let him out there.
Okay.
Yeah, Olsen led Jones exactly. So we're seeing that note there. Yeah, Simon went off and he kind of, hey, follow me. And
right.
He trust followed him, and he didn't catch him.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so very unfortunate for Simon, obviously. And then Jeff Jones, like I said, he has to go where he goes. So I think it's, yep, this is exactly what I anticipated.
Wow.
Jeff Jones gets the win. Dr. Jones, time champion, going against Jonathan Castro, Dominican's finest. Here goes Chris Forsberg in that awesome energy drink. Nissan, Nismo Auto Parts, all new Z, and look at Castro. He is applying the pressure. Oh, look at that pulling wheel. That is unlike what I've seen from Forsberg before. That big, long suspension there, working all of it into that front clip. Nice job wrapping that thing like Rap Legends. And look at Castro. Yo, what a battle. What a battle. Stomp your feet, Seattle. Make some noise. Let them know you're here. Stomp your feet if you will.
Yeah, Castro really flexing again and showing how good he is in the chase. So Chris Forsberg does a good job through that first part of the outside zone, gets the car back in, and now Castro in the pocket, starts to surge ahead a little bit, anticipating when Chris is going to start to come off the bank. It does a good job through there. Chris through the second and third outside zone, filling all that. Castro could have been a little bit deeper through the third. And then through the inside clip, both of them look stupendous, and that transition from Castro to time that out looks great. I mean,
love the proximity. Could be deeper in the outside zones for Castro.
And this is the thing. You're always going to have to give up something to gain something else, right? You're going to give up line to get the proximity, or you're going to give up angle to gain proximity. And proximity is not everything. If you give up everything else just to be close, it's not what the judges are looking for. So, yeah, I really like what Chris did out in the lead. I really like what Castro did in the chase. I mean, it's
good.
Ball's in Castro's court at this point. So.
Yeah. This is going to be the deal breaker. We will see. And as Castro will lead, Chris Forsberg chasing him down. All right. Hearing those Seattle fans cheer for their favorite driver. Castro is a Forsberg. Who's moving on to 16? Castro locked and loaded in that all-new Toyota GR86, all-new Z. Great-looking cars. Now, Castro way overshoots it, overcooks it, burns the meatloaf. Unfortunately, forced an error. To be honest, Forsberg doesn't even need to complete this run because Castro made that major mistake out front. Drift Alliance, OG, the wreath be rocking for the OG DA, and unfortunately, Castro took himself out there.
Yeah, I do want to make sure before we get too far ahead of ourselves that there wasn't some sort of contact that pushed him wide, because they were close. I mean, Chris was pushing real hard, but on first glance, I'm following the same line.
Yeah, no contact, dude.
Yeah,
no contact.
But I mean, look at Castro here. Everything looks really good. Could have put a bit more angle into it or got a little bit more proximity, but just showing how quick it is.
Oh yeah, there was a bump.
There's a little.
Okay, my bad. I digress.
Little boop.
Look at that. How did Canadian Power?
I've had my Dr. Pepper today, sir. So
23 flavors.
That one little touch, I think what it's going to come down to now in the judges' eyes, it was a front wheel on front wheel. If you've watched drifting, if you've ever piloted a drift car, once that front wheel to front wheel contact happens, all bets are off. It's so slight. This is where.
But does that? Okay. Yeah. Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, St. Louis was, just call it what it is, a little tumultuous post event. There were some things that were brought, to the judges and this and that and the other thing, and always analyzing. Look at that. Is that negative camber on that back right?
It does. Well, so he's running up on the bank, so they may add positive camber just because of the size of the bank. That's pretty noticeable. It's hard to tell with this camera angle if that's the case, but I mean, think of circle track cars or NASCAR. You're going to run a staggered stance. There's that first outside zone is massive. You want to get good tire wear.
And talking about that equity of what Forsberg has here, is that significant enough? I just wish he didn't hit him.
I know. But
if he didn't hit him, was Castro already? I mean, he was on a heater.
Yeah. So contact. I mean, I think we can almost conclusively say contact was made. Was that contact something that would have affected Castro and pushed it out wider? Is what it's going to come down to.
I was so confident saying, like, dude, there's no contact.
It happens.
Might have looked away, dude. It was, that angle, you don't even see it.
You start to see that, like, Castro's car starts to add a little bit of angle, but it's hard to say because coming in like that, even if it's 1 or 2 miles an hour difference, that could be enough to bend a tie rod.
Right.
You bend that tie rod, and now, especially where he hit, that's going to turn the wheel in, and it's going to drive the car the wrong way. Then we get into Ackerman, and I'm not getting on.
Okay, relax there. You ain't no drift wizard like those guys are. Hey, stop your feet, Seattle. Stop your feet. Let me hear you. Stop your feet. Get this place. Woo! All right, not too hard.
Yeah.
Not too hard. I don't know when this was built.
Scares me when you do this in Orlando.
I know. Orlando Speed World might rattle loose or something. All right, so this gets tough, man. Scrutinizing, analyzing, what is going on?
Yeah. That's really what the judges are going to be looking at here, is kind of scrubbing back and forth and just seeing what the effect, how much contact was made and what the effect of that contact.
Love this. Let's institute this after every battle. Again, just two gentlemen of the sport.
We need to get a mic.
There's only one person I don't like. I just won't name names. I'm joking. But
I'm right here, man.
What's that?
I said I'm right here, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It rhymes with Jacob Jettins.
Yeah.
That
guy.
Yeah, that guy.
No, I do like this. I like the camaraderie.
And I feel like that's a European thing. You see that in Ireland. You see that Drift Masters, and I think it's a cool customary thing that I'm here for. I know Castro's been he's been busy, man. He's been traveling a lot. He's been karting with his son, Chris Forsberg, about to get married to his lovely bride.
So it looks like the judges are still evaluating what the effect of that, what that contact is. I mean, it's so hard to tell from this angle, but yeah, wow. But this is what we're asking of these drivers, is to put things that close the entire time. So it looks like we've got a decision coming up here.
And there it is. Castro gets the win. Castro unanimously. The judges analyzing that. So Mike Power, what a bummer. The Type S S15. We're going to be partying down the pits later. This is he has to bow out. Connor Shanahan. Again, another Irish fast pass here at Red Bull BMW. Most recent winner at the King of Riga at Drift Masters. Congratulations to him. A champion in other series, but a rookie here in Formula Drift. Just an absolute weapon. Has never drifted banks before. You got a smile on your face. What's going on, Jacob?
As long as his car is working, it's so
tough to beat.
It's so tough to beat, and his trend.
Well, we hope you do. Congratulations. We'll see him in top 16.
Thank you, Lorette. Here we go. Moving on. Matt Field and Stookie. Failure to launch. Matt Field in that Borla exhaust Corvette looking solid. Absolutely rock solid there for the Beast from the Bay. I mean, as long as he keeps course right here, he's going to have a major advantage. Stookie, again, that new car, I know you really admire that car, that build, the lightest car, as you said, technically here in the field, but undeniable. Matt Field put down a heater.
Yeah, Matt Field's been on one since the beginning of practice. His ability to get into the wall, set things up, and let the car float there and make minimal corrections. You see just small bits of wavering here and there, but ultimately very stable all the way through it. He also stays on throttle all the way from outside zone 1 through outside zone 2. Outside zone 3 looks great. Inside clip, I mean, Matt Field is definitely a one to watch for this entire round and looks great. Stookie, right off the bat, I mean, as Jared alluded to, a bit of a failure to launch. They did replace an engine last night. It becomes very difficult, too, because, swapping engines in these cars has become very easy now. But there's
easy for who?
I mean, not me. I'm not having to do it. But I'm sure Casey at this point could do it with his eyes closed. Yeah.
No, it is very impressive. We always gave accolades to Papadakis and their team, how quickly they can change an engine. That little four-banger that Turk used to have, now he's gone 6-cylinder. Same engine that Frederick Osbo runs in his Supra, but again, these teams, efficiency is key. Here we go. Stuckey out front. What approach does Matt Field have? Again, with Stuckey in that chase position having difficulty, so I think he's going to dial it back to about a 7.5. C grades, obviously, he's still passing grades. So, oh, that second outside zone. Stuckey flirting with the edge of that track. Now look at Matt Field here in that Borla exhaust. Heat wave visuals, Corvette, 777 comes up. All spades, there we go. So that gets it done there for Matt Field, the beast from the Bay. You know, again, we can deduce that that's going to go Field's way.
Yeah, what's cool, and I kind of want to take this run as a bit of a teaching moment for what you'll hear us talk about left foot braking wall. What that is the driver's got his right foot on the gas and his left foot on the brake. You can see Stuckey, great example of it here. You see that wheel locking up, and as he lets off, you can see how quickly the car dynamic changes, starts forward, moves around a lot. So it's because of how light Stuckey's car is, you can see it very clearly through this. But I'm really happy with how Stuckey was able to get the run back together. I like how he filled the zones. I mean, when you know you're behind like that, you can often dart around and do a lot of crazy stuff, but Stuckey did keep it under control. So.
Yeah, just not enough. That first run there, unfortunately for Stuckey, is going to be the nail in the coffin for him. Matt Field gets the win. What Ryan Turk has, that hot hatchback. Look at this thing. I love this stance. It just looks like a bullfrog. Oh, and no. Literal shuts it down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Planted to the brakes. Unfortunately, looks like he shuts it down. And Turk does have to complete this lap because he is leading, and Ryan Literal crawling his way through that first outside zone. Turk, bit of a cakewalk for the New Hampshire born. Live free or die. Shout out to Shannon and Roman. I know they're watching at home. Got those new vents.
There's a lot of speed holes in there, so looks like it was a clean start. Yeah, so not sure what happened there with Mr. Literal, but Ryan Turk out front, yeah, just starts to take away at that point. But Ryan does a great job here through the first outside zone. Takes a little bit to really get the smoke coming out of the car, which can be an indicator of throttle, but either way, he does a really good job through the first, second, and third outside zone, filling all of them. Inside clip, everything nice and tight. You can see how he uses the momentum of the car to get around, how smooth and fluid this run looks. Ryan Turk, back on form.
Textbook.
Yeah, very, very good. And here's the thing too, even if your competitor has an issue like this, you still need to put down a heater, because what happens if, Turk has an issue at the line and Literal leaves him behind.
The plot, we saw in that last episode of Senate, the plot thickens. I would say that a lot, but and it can happen.
Yeah. We've seen it.
Don't know what happened to Literal. He's back on the line, so he's ready to go. Oh, no, or is he? Oh, no. So there. So restart. Clean start. That is a clean start. Literal gremlins. Don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet. Unfortunately, they multiply. We don't die, we multiply. And unfortunately for Ryan Literal, that's going to be a wrap for his Sunoco Sim Magic S15. Great looking car, but got to throw it sideways, brother. And Ryan Turk will be getting the victory here. Man, Ryan Turk and Matt Field will be going against each other. That's going to be a banger in 16.
Yeah, 16 is shaping up to be pretty crazy.
All right, we'll make it official. You know what's going to happen here. Slide him left. Well, Ryan won, but it's Ryan Turk that gets the victory here in the Rain-X Toyota already in 16. Here we go. Odie Bakshi's, Derek Madison. Odie Bakshi's that field suspension, S15. Boom. Look at, there's that left foot brake. Look at that right front wheel was just locked, lifted, and loaded. D-Math getting lost in the smoke, buried in the smoke. The GT radial into that inside clip. Takes that shallow line, but I'll tell you what, Odie Bakshi's, this is showing you how big of a veteran and a real championship contender Odie Bakshi's is. Make some noise for him. Odie Bakshi's and Derek Madison.
Yeah, Derek let me know a little bit before competition. He is down on horsepower by around 200, and I do think it shows here. So Derek doing everything he can just in the chase to stay within the battle. Now Odie Bakshi's really, as Jared said, pushing things, using that left foot braking, really dynamic suspension, kind of bouncing around. Doesn't get all the way to outside zone 2. Outside zone 3 looks great though, and then out that big wide swing like we talked about into the inner clip. It starts to push it out towards the wall, and the wall this year a little bit different. They've added a bit more of an arc, so we've said it a few times this year, but more of a C, less of an A. You know, a nice swoop through instead of a jagged corner. But yeah, Derek, I mean, down on horsepower. Odie's got to be aware of that, and we'll see how this starts to shape up.
More of a C less than an A?
Yeah, like a C shape instead of an A. Like
Oh, I thought Canadians' favorite letter was A.
Oh, jeez. Walk right into that one.
Derek Madison will lead. Odie Bakshis will give chase. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I set you up for that.
Hold on. Pinata. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes all the candy. It's so sweet. Derek Madison will lead. Odie Bakshis giving chase. You said he's down in horsepower. Oh, and we are. Look at this. Odie Bakshis is calling a competition timeout.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's a plot twist. Definitely M. Night Shyamalan called, and he wants his twist back. But look at that.
Well, this is why it's so important too. I mean, Derek putting down that lap. He still tried to stay in the battle. He struggled for sure, but this is why it's important, because things like this happen. These cars are so
wound up. Position. Brand Sorensen, the United Air Force BMW, locked and loaded. Great angle from him. Diego, you can see gaining that proximity, like say compromising, the angle, but the proximity is really tight by Diego. He got into the outside zone 3. Brandon is filling all of it. Diego surges forward, having a difficult time there getting back into that pocket outside zone 3, but Brandon out front, little contact there, blowing that front bumper off. Saw him just dive in on Sorensen. Look at the cockpit, absolutely filled with smoke. Wow.
Yeah, there's some really, really cool spots in this run. So look at how quickly Brandon Sorensen gets the wall. He actually grabs onto the wall a little bit there, has to make some corrections, and then right near the end, he just snaps it out right there. Love that. Adding the angle in so he can set himself up for 2. Does a nice floaty job through 3, then back on throttle to that inside clip. Look the amount of angle he's able to push all the way through that section. And Higa, I mean, he's doing what he can to try and answer it, but
I'll tell you what, he does have an advantage here. If you can recall, Derek Madison in chase position was back there quite a bit, but now Odie Bakshis feeling confident. Look at Derek Madison. Now he is on one. Coming out into a quick little correction there. Just massaging the car in the outside zone 2. The car was really gripped up yesterday, and it looks like it not as gripped up, but still hitting the outside zone. Now into outside zone 4. And I think, a good effort there by Derek Madison, but unfortunately he did have the lack of the show in that chase position on the first run.
Yeah, Derek is definitely a never give up kind of person. The whole team is, and being down on power, I mean, I know they struggled to get crew out. There were some things going on. So it's just everything stacked up against him, but love to see the effort he's still putting in, still driving as hard as he possibly can. Trying to get out to the zones, but it really shows you the difference when you're down a few hundred horsepower of how difficult these cars are to drive. So that, 1,000 horsepower now, that's kind of the minimum. There are definitely drivers who can make it work with less, but you see just the difference between it. Odie Bakshis putting on a master class here of how to chase a car that's not nearly as fast as yours. Gives him a bit of distance, tries to anticipate where Derek might go or may not go, and gets the car into a safe spot that still shows an active chase. So expert job from Odie.
Yep.
And Derek, just never say die.
Never say
die, Madison.
He's never going to give you up. He's never going to let you down.
No.
Never going to turn around. No. Did we get Derek rolled?
I think we did.
Okay.
I think we got Derek rolled.
Yep.
It's bound to happen one day.
He's not the Mata son. He's the Mata daughter. Odie Bakshis gets the win in St. Louis. Youngest driver ever to podium in Formula Drift history. Federico doesn't care. Could be his dad. He's like, whatever, bro. Watch this Ferrari in your rearview mirror. Hiro and Juku Racing, Jerry Yang Racing, 86. Look at Hiro. Locked in, oh my gosh, like Velcro. Hook and loop closure, sorry, Velcro's a trademark name. Now in that second outside zone. Federico Sharifo transitions, comes out of the smoke, dives in aggressively, takes a little bit shallower of a line, and now into that last outside zone. Hiro Manoa, boom, he is right there on the wall, that back bumper, nearly scraping it, maybe even scraping it, literally.
I think so. It did look like he got right up onto the wall, and I wouldn't be shocked with the amount of aggression that this very mild-mannered driver drives with. Federico Sharifo struggling a little bit to get the initiation timed at the right time, but we do see some wavering there from Manoa, a little bit of hesitation, just trying to get the car into the full first outside zone. You see that wild dive there from Federico Sharifo, cutting a bunch of the line and missing the outside zone 3. And then Manoa, through the rest of this run, this slower, smoother, and slower section really comes into his own here. This big bank, the amount of speed was the part that I figured he'd struggle with the most. It did seem that way, although it was still a really good first outside zone. Just you know, if you're gonna play with some of the big dogs out here, got to clean that part up. Federico Sharifo just missing the launch there in the beginning just meant that he had to play catch up to the rest of the run. So.
Just looking at social here, Ryan Littoral is saying he lost power. He lost electrical power down the straight on both runs. So an update there from Ryan Littoral and outcome of his battle. Here we go, Federico Sharifo, Hiro Manoa, the Penzo Ferrari, a Fiorella, coming down the chute, that initiation point. Hiro Manoa, calculated. Let's see what Fetty's got on that wall, Fetty wall, not Fetty Wap, into that second outside zone, into that power. Look at Hiro Manoa. Absolutely bed back and beyond in the smoke, bathing in it like a bath bomb. Now in that last outside zone, exfoliating the skin of the tires into that last. Look at that. The crowd explodes, loving it. Wait, who are they more electrified for? Fetty?
I think Manoa is very quickly becoming a fan favorite and a crowd favorite, especially here in Seattle. Let's take a look here. Federico Sharifo does a good job to get the car to angle, and now Manoa is starting to pull him in, but Federico does fill that first outside zone quite well. Very smooth line coming off the bank. Manoa dives in. Now Fetty could have been deeper in the second outside zone and the third outside zone. And Manoa doing a good job through those two parts. Great inside clip from both drivers as we transition out to 4. Fetty trying to get as much of that gigantic Ferrari. I can't understate this enough. That car is massive. If you get a chance, once we're in the break, go take a look at just how big this car is.
It definitely dwarfs that 86.
So large. But yeah, I mean, both drivers cleaned up a lot on that second run.
Yeah, I think Manoa really highlighted, you know, unfortunately, Fetty did not hit those outside zones, and the crowd erupts for Hiro Manoa, the Japanese rising star. What a chasing him down. Brazilian star initiates. Diego Higa, Street Hunters, missing that front bumper. Oh, look at Brandon. I'm telling you, man, Brandon, talk about these young up-and-coming drivers. Look at Higa pulling tire. Brandon Sorensen comes out of that smoke. He does come up shallow, but Higa's putting the car in all the right places. Oh, buddy. Oh, my gosh, look at him massage. He blows out that back bumper, exploding the fenders there. All right, I definitely think we're going to be seeing a BC Racing side-by-side.
Yeah, the pass-through transition from Sorensen is just so cool to see. But let's take a look here. Higa out front does a really good job through that first outside zone. Looks like he's struggling to keep the car under control. Has to throw a bit more angle in there. We see a couple little dives there. Comes out of the second outside zone a little bit early. Comes out of the third outside zone a bit early. And now Sorensen on a much tighter line. And that pass-through transition was just so neat. Now, we are looking for the drivers to mirror the lead car. So as much as it is cool, it may not be the most correct way to go about it, but it does look sick. So, Jared's. It seems like Jared has been fed Canadian snacks.
I got Canadian snacks.
I think there's a few Canadians in this building, if I'm not mistaken.
Are there a couple?
Oh, I think I hear them.
Oh,
there they are.
They all just said sorry.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
it was a uniform sorry.
Yeah. Sorry for being so loud.
Yep, I'm crushing some chips, brother. Thank you. Here it is, BC Racing side-by-side. Again, we had a little bit of battles in between, so take a look at it again.
Yeah, it's a great way to refresh our memory. So first outside zone, it looks like Sorensen got in a touch earlier, and then in a chase, we do see both drivers having to make some corrections. We flip back and forth, trying to watch both at the same time. Second outside zone's in the lead, pretty similar. It looks like Higa could have been deeper in 3 on his lead. Inside clips look great, and then our fourth outside zone in the lead, pretty similar. So it really comes down to the chase for this one. Which driver was able to mirror the other driver better, be able to keep everything tidy. So it is going to be tight between both these drivers. So their leads, phenomenal. Chases in both of them need a little bit more work.
Yep. Yeah, tighten it up. You could see Reese pondering. We got the international symbol for drift.
Yes, the two hands side by side. Yeah.
Also, he's pondering what Colombian food he's going to eat later.
Empanadas.
Big empanada fan. Here we go. Slide of left for Sorensen, right for Higa. Sorensen gets 1 vote, 2 votes. And Brandon Sorensen gets the victory, advancing on. Oh boy, here we go. Out front, that Cadillac, Mr. Cool, keeping it cool. Got the holographic. Oh, right off, wow. Just right off the jump, just exploding that front bumper. Novak, he says, look, you've got me every time, not this time. But Jonathan Hurst keeps his cool, literally, and Novak shuts her down in the power alley. Struggle bus, population no back right now, unfortunately. Having some issues.
Hey.
And pulling through. I mean, exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know 4th of July was here in August. There were fireworks, man.
Those taillights are not cheap on that XLR, so look at that. Wow, right off the bat, just dives in on Hurst. So Hurst does a good job to keep in it, though. Foot to the floor all the way through the first outside zone. Needs to be way deeper through that zone through the rest of these battles. And Novak just darting in. Takes the wall, takes a hit full on to the side of the car, gets back in throttle, gets back on it. This is what we want to see. Takes the licking, keeps on ticking. Jonathan Hurst out front, though, not fazed by any of it. Look at that. I'll tell you right now, those XLR taillights, not easy to find. And
yeah, but he's printing them.
Well, he has to. The rest of them are gone. He's eaten through them already this season.
I mean, I think this is the last XLR. This is like a dinosaur. We're looking at a dodo bird.
Yeah.
That
Almost
like
extinct car. But
no, it's good. I mean, like we said, statistically, these guys have battled 3 times. Jonathan Hurst has gotten every time. Royal Purple, O'Reilly Auto Parts, BMW, that Reap Weapons, weapon of mass destruction, Alex Robbins, Nissan 350Z into that first outside zone. He knows his track probably better than anybody else out here, and Dylan Hughes said it and forget it. Ford Star wheelie seat coming to a halt. That left foot brake through the power alley. Outside zone 3. Great angle by Dylan Hughes. I'll tell you what, Alec Robbins is in tow. Came out of angle a little bit on that transition from 3 to inside, and now outside zone 4. Look at, Dylan is just confident.
Yeah.
Like he's like, like he just like.
It's like driving home from work.
Right, dude.
Yeah. Love the way he gets into angle. I really like how Alec Robbins starts to mirror it and then falls back a little bit through here, but Dylan just super stable through that whole section. Lots of left foot brake to keep the car settled. Transitions through here, grabs another gear through outside zone 3. Inside clip has been crushing that all day. And then outside zone 4, everything looks nice and tidy. So Alec Robbins did keep a really good line behind him. I mean, you can see he tried to almost add more angle there, but does do a good job keeping the line for the majority of this run. So that first outside zone, though, I mean, you make one small mistake, it's so hard to get back into the pocket. But Robbins' chase was good. It's just a little bit darty here and there, and what it's going to come down to now is Robbins needs to lay down an absolute heater and hope that Dylan Hughes
force
does
a
something
mistake.
A little crazy.
Yeah, and that it has happened.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's something that you just take for granted, where it's like, oh, I know this course, I got this, and then just boom, just shows their ugly head. Here we go, Alec Robbins out front. Dylan Hughes in the chase position. A little late there by Dylan Hughes. I think he gave him too much respect.
Yeah.
Need to look at that, and look at this, Dylan Hughes.
Oh,
again, this is exactly what we talked about. What happened to Hughes? Alec Robbins does need to continue on. I think we're going to have to take a look. I think Alec, again, let him run through the course. We're obviously going to show you a replay. The only variable that I will say is, when did Robbins initiate? Did that impede onto Dylan Hughes and his lack of launching and drifting? You saw him go through the rest of the course, but driving straight. Does he have an issue? What happened here?
Yeah.
This is exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah, this is it. This is drifting at its finest. I mean, once you think you know what's going to happen, something else. So Robbins does have the right of way. Initiates before the 3 cone. Dylan Hughes just something, lack of power. I mean, I'm going to say a mechanical of some kind. I have no idea what it could be, but yeah. And then Alec Robbins through the rest of this run, outside zone 2 and 3 both look good. He did a great job in seating. Right back to where we saw him, over the last couple of years, and outside zone 4. So I don't know if we can see anything. There's something pop out of the back of the car. It's like he's missing half an engine or something.
That was just very uncharacteristic. I mean, we just saw a really good dominant lead run there, and in the chase position, just did not show up, and that is a huge blow. I mean, he's the hometown hero. A lot of people cheering him on, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be it for Dylan Hughes. What an upset here, but Alec Robbins moves on and advances on the Reap Weapons BMW. So this is forcing a victory for Mr. Cool. Look at this guy. Oh man, lay back and listen. Cadillac XL. It'll work. One minute. rat-a-tat-tat, looking like a Claire's Boutique, like some jewelry or something. I'm here for the prism.
It's a lot
Mr.
of sparkle.
Cool.
A lot of sparkle.
Dude, that guy wins all the Flair Awards.
Yeah.
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 Pride
Can't
of
miss
Paducah.
that car. Whether
No.
you know, if you can't see, you can't hear, you know, still know the car's coming.
Absolutely. Mr. Cool, Prism, hologram. I mean, gem, truly outrageous. He looks great. All right, so we are more than halfway through as Taylor Hull and Kazuya Taguchi. Taylor Hull, originally from Teja, just a proud Georgian.
Yeah.
Proud Georgian. His wife cheering him on, a spotter in his head. Kazuya Taguchi, again, just has really stepped up tremendously. The Up Garage, ISR performance, Jerry Yang Racing, 86. Let's see what Taylor Hull's got. This Comp Cam's Corvette. This all-American versus all-Japanese, right? This is the battle right here. The battle in Seattle. Here we go. Taylor Hull initiates that Comp Cam's Corvette. Look at that. The Wrangler butt's driving me nuts. Talk about that Wrangler butt. He puts it right up on that wall. Hell yeah, brother. Coming now into that second outside zone. Taps it a little bit with that back left. Now tight on the inside clip. Taps it. Kazuya Taguchi not very aggressive in the chase position. Doesn't seem like he is that confident. You know, we talked about how confident Dylan Hughes was, and again, what a bummer getting knocked out. But again, yeah, take a look at it again.
Yeah, so Taylor Hull gets the angle quite quickly, and then Kazuya Taguchi definitely needs to wrangle things in, but I do like how deep Hull got through the first part of the first outside zone. Needs to add a little bit more angle in to get out of it correctly. Gets to the second outside zone. Third looks great. Second could have been a little bit deeper through there, but Kazuya looks like he got choked up just a little bit with the amount of angle that Taylor Hull was able to put transitioning from outside zone 3 to that inside clip. So, yeah, you can see that separation as they come through here. Kazuya having to make a couple of sacrifices in order to get through, but Taylor, I mean, most of this run looks great. Second part of the first outside zone could have been a little bit deeper. Could have held it through the second outside zone a little bit longer. So there is some room there for Kazuya to come in and play a little bit harder.
Right, yeah, it didn't seem like the Kazuya we've seen previously. Maybe the bank, maybe intimidated, I don't know.
Yeah, he's normally a very aggressive chaser, so it might be a little bit more of a spotter saying, hey, just calm down. Right. We're going to do something wild in the lead.
There you go.
And it'll all come together.
Right, yep. Maybe force an error here from Taylor Hull, but Taylor was locked and loaded. Let's see how aggressive he is in the chase position, and he might have a tempered approach similar to Kazuya Taguchi. Taguchi up front, initiates, boom. See Taylor kind of rolling into that initiation, and look, I mean, good proximity. Could be deeper there by Taylor Hull, but Kazuya in both directions with those front wheels into that third outside zone. Deep, real deep. Big angle there. Now transition that last outside zone. Taylor Hull. I mean, that was, I think, a really good approach by Taylor Hull. The fans erupt here in Seattle. Your thoughts?
Two very, very different approaches to their leads. I mean, a very Japanese style and a very American style to both leads. So Kazuya gets right up to the wall almost immediately. Now Taylor having to add a bit more speed to the car to get back into the pocket, and then starts to follow in suit through the last half of the first outside zone. Now Kazuya kind of hits it and quits. It could have been a little bit longer there, but so much angle through the third outside zone and leads it nice and wide through the inside clip. And then the fourth outside zone, everything looks good. So the only error that I really saw from Taylor Hull was this first part of the zone. Would like to see him in a little bit closer, but as you can see, after saying that, he's doing it. And then just the transition at the third outside zone. I mean, he cut it too soon. Really, really cut the line, completely missed that zone to keep the proximity up. But Kazuya Taguchi is able to throw so much angle and keep that car going. It's wild. So really tough. I mean, this is definitely a battle of two very different styles of driving the exact same track.
American, Japanese, like you said, just two very different styles, very American build, Japanese build. Jerry Yang, and a very accomplished builder, Nissan Master Tech. So, all right, our fans out here in Seattle, staying cool. Definitely some warm temps out here. Let's take a look here at our BC Racing side-by-side. What stands out to you, Jacob?
Yeah, so whenever we get these, I try to take a look and see if there's anything in the lead that stands out for sure. But, I mean, the proximity of Taylor Hall is much better through the first outside zone while he's chasing, because the leads are pretty similar. So it comes down to, like, these big mistakes that we would have seen. Second outside zone, close, third. I mean, there is mistakes from both drivers. I do think that there is some proximity that could have been gained from both drivers. I mean, it's tough. Yeah, there's mistakes from both sides. There's really nothing definitive that isn't, you know, juxtaposed by another section of the track. So really, really tough judging call on this one.
Yeah, gets interesting here. Let's see. Again, Jacob walking us through there. It's going to be a packed house here. Our judges.
It's already a packed house here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see warranted for one more time. Here we go. Frederick Osbo, Kyle the Menace Mohan. Frederick Osbo currently second in points. Heading down into the chute. Good initiation by Osbo. Sugar-free sucker. He's running that sugar-free livery here, that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra. I mean, look at him maxing it out. Mohan dives in on that third outside zone. Just quite a bit of distance from him. Gets aggressive, but I don't think that's going to be enough as Osbo powers through. Well done. Excuse me. Freddie currently in third. My bad. Odie Bakshi's currently in second. Thank you.
Yeah, what's been really neat to see is Frederick Osbo over the years has been very calculated, and this year especially, he's throwing so much more angle at things and trying to get him a bit more wild and maybe even just have more fun with his driving, and it's really showing in the efforts. So stable through that first outside zone, and then adds in that bit of angle. Could have been a bit deeper through the second outside zone, but he's carrying a ton of speed and then scrubs it all in the third. Now, Kyle Mohan does a really good job back there considering how fast that Rockstar Supra is. It is absolutely nuts. But, yeah, wow. Okay. Dylan Hughes here, so are we, I wonder if we're indicating there's a broken axle.
It broke.
Bummer.
And one part. So yeah, swapping things around. I mean, Kyle Mohan's had a couple of really, really outstanding runs here in practice. He's had a few that he struggled with. I mean, it looks like he's trying different techniques, different things. The hard part is this car does not make a ton of torque. Being a rotary, you know, you can't low-end grunt through the track. You have to keep it in the rev range. It is one of the loudest cars that are here, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do when it comes to this section.
All right, let's see what's going on here as now Kyle Mohan is leading and Frederick Osbo giving chase. Let's look at Freddie. I mean, three-time champ. Mohan, absolute, you know, rotary ledge. Oh, and Mohan goes off. The renewable lubricants. Mazda Tricks RX-8 looks like shuts it down. And unfortunate for Mohan, but that's going to be a victory for Frederick Osbo. Looks like he's rolling over there. Make sure he's okay. Let's take a look at it again. What went wrong?
I mean, hard to say right off the bat, but Freddie diving in really quick, and then took a little bit for Mohan really to get the car at angle. But he does a really good job through that first outside zone. Could have had a bit more angle. It slows down so much through there. So Freddie able to get the car checked up just in time without causing any massive issues. But I do want to shout out Kyle Mohan here. First part of that zone took a little bit, but once he got the car settled, the rest of that first outside zone looked really good. And then you see a slowing right here, and then has to pull the car out of angle. Freddie doing an amazing job of not absolutely decimating the rear end of that car.
That could have been really bad. So unfortunate for Mohan, he shuts it down. But Frederick Osbo, the chiseled jaw, looking like stone, gets the win. He advances on. Lorette Nickel, who you got with you?
I wanted to get a word from our hometown here.
Everybody's at 110, dude, meaning like percent. So it's very impressive. But
we're at a point where the sport has progressed the mechanical ability.
Absolutely. Here we go. RCP, Rome Charpentier, and we are talking about Trenton Beecham. Whoa! RCP in the garageistic BMW comes out of trip. This is, again, another uncharacteristic run here by Rome. Trenton, that might have been, you know, to be honest, I don't think he meant to give himself that much room, but it might have paid off because Rome is just kind of on his own trip right now. On that last outside zone goes RCP. I mean, he was not high on the bank. Trenton, like I said, this might have worked out for Trenton's benefit having been back so far.
Yeah, so something strange happened with Rome's car. Tons of angle there, and that was it. Now, I mean, Rome just trying to figure out what happened there, but Beecham able to get things dialed in. starts to make up the ground because that first outside zone was basically a wash there for Rome, who does do a good job through the second and third outside zone. Inside clips both look nice, and then that transition there from Beecham, very controlled and calculated. But the first outside zone, the initiation from Rome, looks like he almost over-rotated to start with, and then that was all she wrote at that point.
Let's see what we got here. Throwing the cameras on for our production. Trenton Beecham will be leading RCP and the other BMW. Again, two very calculated vehicles. Again, the BMW is making a wild advancement here
So
in
many
Formula Drift, both
BMWs.
Pro and Pro Spec. What's that?
I said so many BMWs. I was
Yeah.
bugging Sopa earlier. You know, when are we going to see more Mustangs?
BMWs are hard to beat, man. Again, they're all over the world. Here we go. Trent Beecham initiates, goes across the nose of RCP, and I feel like Trent is given a better opportunity here. And Rome absolutely reaps the rewards of a great lead run here of Trent Beecham into that third outside zone. Beecham going for it, dialed on that inside clip, last outside zone four.
Oh,
So Trent might have choked up a little bit, but Rome, let's see. Let's look at
Yeah.
different angles. Angles, baby.
just when you
Angles.
thought this was all dialed and all sorted, and you know you could check off who was going to take the win, things get a little bit strange in outside zone 4. So Beecham off the line, everything looks good. Good feint initiation. Gets the car flicked out, starts to fill the first outside zone. Rome doing a really good job of mirroring. Really, like that right there, that small section of track was basically textbook there from Rome in the chase. Trent does a good job through the second outside zone, misses the majority of the third. Now to the inside clip, it looks good, and Trenton looks like he's just about to over-rotate and park it in. And then Rome isn't able to chase the rest of that run, so does it become a point of an unchaseable lead there from Trenton Beecham out front? Because that just got weird, it got wild. Beecham just throwing so much angle and so much caution to the wind to that part. So everything else, you know, looks really dialed. Like I said, could have been better to outside zone 3, inside clip, and then starts to over-rotate. And Rome goes in, has to pull out a drift. So I think what this becomes is unchaseable runs at this point. Could you chase what Beecham put down there
Right.
through the fourth outside zone?
All right.
They'd never make it easy.
No.
I mean, it's easy for us. We just have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But for the judges,
It's hats off. Vernon's not here at this event, but Robin Ishida, Reese Marin, new addition to the Formula Drift judging panel, and of course, OG, Mr. Brian Eggert.
we got some fan judging going on here. Someone brought a whiteboard. We need to check those at the gate.
Yeah, we got it.
Whiteboards are dangerous.
Homeboy's saying one more time.
Yeah.
All right. What's the whiteboard say? What are we saying here? All right. One. Okay. A lot of people claim one more time here.
Interesting.
According to old Staples.
So let's see. What is the bigger issue
Yep.
between the leads of these drivers? So Rome over-rotating there, but Beecham is able to chase it. But Rome essentially missing. I would hesitate to say he missed the entire first outside zone. Beecham is able to chase that, has to stay much further back. Now the rest of Rome's run looks really good, whereas Beecham had 2 mistakes, which is the third outside zone, and then this over-rotation missing the fourth outside zone. So the comparison now is the large mistake of Rome missing all of the first, which is
Right.
kind of half the track, but then Beecham missed 2 outside zones, which is kind of the other half of the track. So real tough.
But again, Rome, on that lead run had some major mistakes. I think Trenton gave Rome a bigger opportunity to have a better chase run if you're not given that opportunity, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, chases being equal, that both of them had large mistakes that are hard to chase, and then, what is the bigger mistake collectively between the leads and chases? So, tough go. Look at how bad the cars are.
All right, battered bruise. Who's moving on? RCP. We got a one more time. They're going at it again. All right. Now we're seeing Taylor Hull and Kazuya Taguchi, OMT. Kind of a slow roll there out of the gates. Taylor Hull initiates that Tom Cam's Corvette. Rolls into it. Kazuya Taguchi keeps it back. Ooh, Taylor kind of comes out of drift on that bank right before he transitions into the power alley. No. Buddy. That's not where you want to be. So that's going to be a huge mistake there for Taylor Hull. And he's going to need to see Kazuya Taguchi have a mistake. And don't believe he's used his competition timeout.
No, I don't believe so.
Don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there was any indication of bigger problems. And we already saw one broken axle. Could this be a case of another one? I'm seeing smoke out of both sides, just really struggling. So, but then tries to drift to the left, and then our outside wheel just stops turning. So, I mean, it's possible, but there's so many things it could be. But, oh, man, just gutted for Taylor Hall.
Yeah, is that what happened? Drift HQ, Adam LZ putting the car together, but guess what? Robert Thorne was on it. Pin it to win it. Let's see what you got. Adam LZ and Robert Thorne. Adam LZ initiates the Drift HQ, BMW. You can see those TE37s coming to a halt. Oh, and Thorne makes a major mistake in the chase position. Talk about how locked and loaded it is, but look at this. This is all new. Build is looking dialed. You know, you got to think, here's Thorne, who's had 5 previous rounds in a car. His car's still together. LZ's got this, like, tight and right, nutted and bolted, the whole thing. Boom. LZ delivers for the kids. It's all for the kids.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it might have been a copy-paste of the car that was there before, but every car, no matter how well you build, it's going to be different, and Adam has adapted this so quick. And Robert Thorne just struggling a little bit through there. I love the amount of extra angle that Adam throws in to get to that set of outside zones, able to follow everything through. But yeah, Robert Thorne was able to correct his mistake and then keep everything kind of dialed through the rest of it. Adam going a little bit wide there over our impromptu jump, so yeah, wow.
Man, LZ has had one heck of a season. Again, I don't know if are there any Adam LZ fans out there? Stomp your feet if you're an Adam LZ fan. Yo, earthquakes for Adam LZ. Robert Thorne, he's got to step it up here in that lead position. He is absolutely dialed.
If there's anybody who can, though, it is Robert Thorne. He just eats pressure for breakfast. Like,
is that how he stays fit?
He is so fit. Just a diet of pressure, stress and pressure. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Here we go. Robert Thorne, Smetagard Racing, ASM into that first outside zone. This is what we saw yesterday, Jacob. Look at this. I mean, absolutely dialed. Love it. He is just precision. Adam LZ jumps out of the smoke. And he keeps it breezy. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Adam LZ in that Drift HQ BMW. So make some noise. Adam LZ, Robert Thorne.
Real interesting.
Yeah?
Real interesting. Yeah.
What's interesting?
Obviously, Robert Thorne had a pretty decent mistake there in the chase, but Adam not super in the game here.
Right.
I mean, look at Thorne out front. That is a solid first outside zone, and Adam just trying to keep up at this point.
Right.
Second outside zone from Thorne looks great. Third outside zone could have been a little bit deeper. Adam having to cut some line there. Come through the inside clip, transitioning out. Adam gets caught up a little bit, but then both of them do a good job through the fourth outside zone. So it does kind of come down to that first outside zone and what happens there, at least in my mind. What mistake was bigger?
Here we go. Slide him left for Adam LZ, right for Robert Thorne, and Adam LZ
Gets changed up, but yeah, I mean, should the chase driver, be able to give as much space to get that run up, but looks like he closed that gap anyways.
Yep, there we go. All right, so Ken Gucci, Dan Burkett. Gucci out front in that Ready Bodies Toyota GR86. Good initiation from him. And look at Dan Burkett. This is a good textbook battle. And kind of diving down a little bit is Burkett into the power alley, transitioning. Ooh, you saw Burkett being aggressive. And now past that inside clip into that last outside zone. Gucci, really good angle, looked very smooth, not real twitchy. Seemed like Burkett had a little bit of panic in his driving style. What do you think?
Yeah, so Gucci's first outside zone really sets Dan up for success here and is able to allow both drivers to look really dialed through this section. And the part that I was looking at is right here from Gucci. Goes really deep through that, but has to left foot brake really hard and misses the second outside zone, which gives Dan a bit of an opportunity to close the gap through there. He's doing a good job. Center punches that inside clip, really, really pushing the pace of Ken Gucci out front. So Ken, not perfect out in the lead, does a really good job through the first outside zone, but a bit of a correction to make him shallow, I guess, really, and not nearly as deep, not enough angle through the second outside zone. And then Dan had to cut some line to catch back up, because when the lead driver goes that shallow, you're going to be behind them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and he was right there. It got a little sketchy there on outside zone 3 in that power alley. So now Dan Burkett will lead. Ken Gucci chasing him down. Here comes Brad Dan, pulling in one. Ken Gucci taking a little bit of a lower line, but again, that compromisation, as you said, kind of compromising, getting deeper in that back end, into that outside zone, now coming into that power alley. Now switch is back at outside zone 3. Really well done there from Burkett. And Gucci, again, just really smooth. This is the Gucci of yesteryear, and it seemed that he's found that secret sauce, man. Like you said, just looming in the shadows. Gucci, is I don't think he's got a championship hunt, but he's sitting in ninth.
Yeah, he's doing a great job now. Dan could have been deeper through the majority of this first outside zone, but he's very stable. The car sits well. You see that left foot brake. As soon as it comes off, the car adds a bit more angle in. Does a much better job through the second outside zone than Ken did previously. And then through the rest of this run, Dan is just very smooth. It's very tidy, fills all the zones, which does allow Ken to be able to chase quite well. So a couple of mistakes from both. I'm really happy to see the way that Dan has been able to get everything smoothed out and dialed, and it's just really nice to see that he's shaking off some of the cobwebs from taking that year off.
Adam LZ looking all chipper, literally eating chips, maybe. Chips on chips, bro. You happen to have a bucket or a hose broom, feeling quite parched. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at our BC Racing side-by-side. BC Racing official suspension of Formula Drift.
All right, initiation. So first outside zone, Dan and Ken both pretty similar, but Dan's got a better chase there through that zone. Now Dan starts to come off the wall a little bit earlier on his lead. Second outside zone, we talked about it. Dan doing a much better job. Third outside zone, pretty comparable between both runs. And then transitioning into 4, Dan dives in a little bit more, but Ken maybe a bit more stable. So yeah, it's really coming down. We're splitting hairs here to a couple of fine points to be able to decide a winner, but I love to see the progression of both these drivers. Dan's really coming into his own. Ken just super consistent and stable, and that's what allowed him to climb up the ranks the way he has.
Party out back, that's what it says on the wing, and that's why homeboy rocks a mullet. Let's see who's advancing on, Gucci or Burkett. We will be going back to the second half of the Hull to Gucci battle. There we are, looking in the hurt lock. Here we go, sliding left for Gucci, right for Dan Burkett. Looks like we got a one more time and a Dan Burkett vote, and Dan Burkett gets the win. Battle, if you can recall, Taylor Hull went off course, finding out from his spotter and his lovely wife. She says that he blew a blower belt. So alternator problem, so he called competition timeout. So obviously supercharger, you're gonna lose power, boom, bing bong boom, lose power. And does not get another competition timeout, one and done, but he is at a major deficit. He's going to try to force Kazuya Taguchi to have a mistake, but Kazuya with a major advantage. If he just keeps it clean, keeps it clinical, doesn't do anything crazy, he's going to get this victory here. Taylor Hull, unfortunately, in that Comp Cams Corvette is falling back once again and had that issue, shutting her down, and this is going to be all Kazuya Taguchi. Unfortunate for Taylor Hull, but Kazuya will be getting the win. Again, shutting it down. Taylor was out front, didn't complete his first lead run.
I really like how wide Kazuya goes between 3 to the inside clip, and we'll get to it here in the replay. It's just a really interesting way to go about this. I mean, is it too much? Is it not enough? Who am I to say? But yeah, I mean, Taylor Hull basically had to lay down an absolute perfect chase run here to even have a shot at it with the incomplete that he had previously. This is what I'm talking about. Look at all the angle. Look how wide out he's pushing that. Scoops back in, and it really does set him up quite well for outside zone 4. So very flowy, very smooth. Anybody who's going up against Kazuya Taguchi next, which is going to be Alec Robbins, definitely be taking note of that.
Yes, sir. All right, so this will unofficially slide the way of Kazuya Taguchi, and one more battle left. It's a one more time of RCP and Trenton Beecham. Rome Sharp and Tier, Garagistic BMW against the Clonex BMW. of Beecham. So let's make it official. Slide him left for Hull or right for Taguchi, and there it is. Kazuya Taguchi gets the victory. And Lorette Nickel, how does Adam feel about going against Dan in the top 16? Dick Slan, and his smile says it all. Here we go. Let's go back to the action. Here is the one more time battle. Rome Charpentier and Trenton Beecham. All right, looks like RCP looking a lot more dialed than that first run. You know, he had some issues in that first battle. See, oh man, he does exceed that line. Looked like a tire off, so that won't be an incomplete, but that's definitely gonna hurt him a little bit. Now into that last outside zone. Both the Beamers go.
Yeah, much better run there from Rome. I mean, we saw in his previous run he over-rotated on initiation, and that is not the case here. So it comes off the line quite well. Beecham doing a good job to mirror him through that first outside zone. He actually pulls out a little bit of angle, so probably a little bit hesitant through that first part, making sure that nothing goes crazy. Beecham taking a much tighter line through there, and then Rome really pushing out wide for the second outside zone. And then shallow through the third outside zone because of the line that puts him on. And Beecham does a good job. I mean, he's not overly aggressive. He does mimic the line to the best of his ability, but he's not going overly aggressive, shooting off track, diving. So very smooth, a very calculated chase run there from Trenton Beecham, while Rome able to clean things up, going just barely 2 tires off. So at this round, it is 3 tires off. It's incomplete.
Yep.
So he's still okay.
And there we are, re-racking them. This is our final battle of 32. So if you're here in the building, be sure to stop on by the K&N booth. 315 will be giving away a signed helmet. And be sure to stop by the Type S booth. Myself and Larry Chen and Mike Powell will be there at 3:30. Here we go. Trenton Beecham. And we are looking at RCP. Trenton Beecham, man. Look at this, that next entire Clonex BMW. Good transition, really clean, good angle overall. Look at this. I mean, Trenton Beecham out front is really showing up.
Yeah.
That was a solid run by Trenton Beecham. I don't mean to act surprised, but sometimes I feel like he surprises himself too. Just talking to him, he's like, yo, we did it. Like, that's what's up. That was a great run from Beecham.
If you've been a long-time FD fan, you might remember when Beecham was in Pro 2 and an absolute menace to every driver. It was, I at the time was working for a team that had to compete against him, and he was a very difficult driver to go against because of stuff like this. Very consistent. You know he's going to fill the zones and absolutely crushes that first outside zone. Has to add a little bit more angle in there at the end. But Rome in the chase does a good job mirroring the entire time, filling the same portions of the zone, while Beecham through that inside clip and now transitioning out to our fourth outside zone. Both drivers do a great job. I mean, I'm not that I want to be here all day, but another one more time I'm not going to be mad about. So really love to see how both these drivers are able to step their game up and push a little bit harder.
There we go. Slide him left for Rome, right for Trenton Beecham. It looks like Trenton Beecham takes out RCP. And I agree with that call. You know, Rome is a fierce competitor. It didn't look like the Rome we've seen of previous events or, previous years. So unfortunately, RCP is knocked out, Trenton Beecham. So our top 16 is locked and loaded. There's our top 16 that we'll be seeing after our halftime break. So cruise the pits, have a good time. The Royal Purple Top 16, the official engine oil of Formula Drift. James Dean, notably. Odie Bakshis, our top 3 are in there. Talking about Odie, talking about Osbo. So the championship up still for grabs. Jacob, 32.
Yeah, I'm
locked
ready.
and loaded.
I'm ready.
Now in the 16.
I might just stay in the booth and wait for it to happen.
I'm not.
I don't need lunch.
Okay, you're good. Do you eat pressure as well?
No,
Okay.
no, not even a little.
Eat pressure for breakfast or lunch or anything? Hey, thank you so much for joining us here, either online or in the building. On behalf of Jacob Gettins, of course, Lorette Nickel, and our whole team, we'll be back here at 4:45 local time. That's about 3 hours. So you got some time. Cruise the pits, high fives, handshakes, grab a drink, grab a rock star. Let's have a good time. We'll see you back here at 4:45. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Jared Dienda. Send it. We'll be back here in just about 3 hours.
Never go slow, walk hard like a rhino. Rhino. pronto. Your friends like Colombo. You be the judge like Rondo. Never stop on the cover. You never leave pronto. Your friends like Colombo. You be the judge like Rondo.